How to really increase your credit score. Credit is like one of those essential things you're never taught in school. No one tells you the importance of a good credit score, not to live above your means, and why you should be careful with taking out too much credit, or even simply switching bank accounts too often. Credit is delicate. It's similar to trust and reputation. It takes a long time to build, but can instantly be destroyed. Today, I will talk about the things you need to consider if you want to build a good credit score, for whatever reason, whether it is to buy a house, to take out a loan, or to simply rent an apartment. Let's talk about how to really increase your credit score. The average score in the UK is 799 with Experian, which is one of the main credit bureaus. The maximum with Experian is 1000. Yes, that is somewhat high, but the point of this video is not to compare yourself with others. Rather, let's get your credit score up as close as possible to 1000. Let's quickly talk about what credit score is first. In essence, it is a measure of how likely or reliable you are at paying off your debts. Credit agencies are looking at how responsible you are. If they give you all this credit, let's say a loan, how will you pay it off? And can you? The parts that make up your credit score are as follows: 30% to how much you already owe, 35% to your payment history if you have been on time with payments, 10% to any new credit like new loans, inquiries, such as if you're actively applying in hard searches, 15% to the length of any bank accounts or loans or any other form of credit. Lastly, 10% goes to your credit mix, and most people aren't always aware of this. Having a mix of credit can raise your score, so ironically, it can be harmful to actually pay off the loan early rather than establishing a history with that credit and paying it off on time, every time. Let's go through some things you can do to increase your credit score. The easiest thing you can do right off the bat is to register to vote. This is basically a confirmation of identity, but gives a good boost. The next thing is to obviously pay your bills on time. If it's a credit card, for example, at least make the minimum payment and don't be late. If you haven't got enough, then pay the minimum no matter what. Interestingly, make sure you check your registered details. Check your linked accounts, for example, or your joint accounts that you might have forgotten about. See if the linked accounts are correct and break the link if the other person has bad credit. Might sound harsh, but this might save you in the long run. In addition to linked accounts, check that your bank accounts are current, and if you're using them, then your balances can be seen by the credit agency, or at least when they do their report, and they usually do their reports monthly. For example, Monzo Bank is great where you can split money into different pots or sections within your bank account, but the agencies can't see that you have money anywhere other than your current account or main pot. Make sure your money is in the main pot or current account at least before they do their report. Details on when this happens can be found on the credit agency's website, or you can ask customer support. The next thing is to keep longevity. Don't open a ton of new accounts, even if it is for the switching bonuses, as this can hurt your credit score. If your credit score is already fine, that's fine, you can do it every now and then, but keep in mind, your score can take a little bit of a hit before it recovers. It's good to keep old accounts even if you don't use them. You don't need to even put money in them, as long as you don't owe anything and aren't paying a fee. If you want to switch accounts and take advantage of bonuses, then use a dedicated account for this, and keep your long-standing one, don't close it. The fourth thing to keep an eye on is something called credit utilization. A rule of thumb is not to use more than 30% of the credit available to you. If you can afford to pay it back, it still isn't a good idea to use it all. The agencies like to look and see that you're using a low amount of your available credit. Once it's reached 30% or is close to it, you should think about paying directly from your debit card or with cash, and not to continue to use the card. It might seem a bit counterintuitive, since they offered you the card in the first place, and don't they expect you to use it all? Actually, it's a way of gauging your responsibility and being able to hold a card with a big credit allowance, but not actually using it all. Next, limit your hard searches, as these show that you are actively looking for more credit or more loans, and the reasoning is that you can't afford your means at the moment and you need help. Instead, if you are looking, try to make use of soft searches or eligibility searches instead of hard searches. Linked to this, you should try and space out your searches. If you had a hard search, don't do another one for a few months, because it will recover, but it just takes a bit of time. Usually the recommendation is one hard search every 3 months as a maximum. This video is going to be kept short and sweet, and we're nearly at the end. This last tip is one of the most powerful. Despite all the warnings, do use a credit card. Just be responsible with it. No one's telling you not to get one. A credit card will increase your credit score as it shows that you can actually use credit in a responsible way, provided you are responsible, of course. Many people are scared of credit cards, but this shouldn't be the case, as they can be good if used sensibly. Remember, to have a credit score, you've got to have credit. The final thing is to either use the Experian RENTOR exchange if you're renting, or this app called CANOPY, which does pretty much the same thing. However, if a landlord or agent you're renting from has less than 500 houses, it won't necessarily be reported to Experian. That's why CANOPY can help. I'll put a link in the description below. This is a service that reports your rental payments and keeps details on file for you as a renter in order to boost your credit score. It shows your on-time payments and your payment history. On-time payments are reported, and this can actually boost your credit score. So in summary, increasing your credit score requires a bit of patience, and usually dips that you've taken, such as hard searches, recovers over time. It's also to do with being able to use credit responsibly, but not avoiding credit altogether. So there needs to be a good balance. So actually, go ahead, there's nothing wrong with taking out car finance, personal loan, etc. But first thing should be to get a credit card if you don't already have one. But make sure you can pay it back and aren't relying too much on the credit, and are actually able to balance using credit along with debit. Credit cards can help, and there are usually a lot of benefits such as cashback, rewards, coupons, you name it. I hope this has helped, and check out my other videos for more information on a variety of topics. Live an informed life.